Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Splinter Studios Podcast. My name is Adam Stevens. I am the co-owner and drum teacher, and apparently the podcaster of Splinter Studios. Thank you very much for the love on the last podcast. We had Andy Flute, who's a former boxer. He was an alcoholic, drug addict, turned his life around, found Christianity, and if you listen to it, I'm sure you'll agree his story was really fascinating. If you haven't yet heard it, it's available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the usual places where you get your podcasts from. Right, so today's guest is one of my friends, one of my best friends. I've known him since year 7 in high school, so what's that? 13? So his name is Shaun Richards. He's the lead singer of my band and his band, Liberty Lies. I've played with Shaun in bands from the age of 14, and whilst I've been there and been present for many of his stories and his experiences, I think it's always interesting to see how people take things and how they pick up different things from that same shared experience. And we've had quite a mixed experience within the music industry. You've heard from Josh before, and we spoke about what it's like from teaching. But Shaun makes his money in different ways within as a musician. I'm looking forward to talking to him today. I haven't yet spoken to him. I normally record this afterwards, but Shaun's on his way. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. So get yourself comfortable. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Please check out our other podcasts. We've got quite a few now, and we're going to be bringing you some more soon. There's lots of plans in place. We had some people booked in, but we've had to move the dates, so there will be some more coming soon. So stick with us. But yeah, hit that subscribe button and like the video if you're watching on YouTube. And yeah, please enjoy. This is my very good friend, Shaun Richards. But before we get into that, Shaun does use some industrial language in what you're about to hear. So if you're easily offended, try not to be. But if you are, you might want to turn away now. Maybe avert those little ears listening around you. But if not, enjoy. Shaun Richards.
Hello.
How the devil are you?
I'm good. Not too bad.
It's been a while. I haven't really seen you because with us not gigging, it's been
yeah, it's a weird thing at the moment, isn't it?
It's gone from being like 3 or 4 times a week, and then before that it was like 7 times a week.
Yeah.
So now it's just on the odd occasion.
Yeah, don't like you.
No.
How you used to.
How you keeping?
All right. Good.
Busy?
Know. Yeah, plodding on.
On. Yeah. Well, I wanted to start because obviously I have previously explained that we know each other very well.
Very well.
So I'm going to try to assume...
Too well, someone say.
Yeah. I'm going to try to assume that... Well, I'm going to play out like I don't know anything about you, for the most part. Because most of our experiences are shared.
Yeah.
But you've got different takes on them.
I do.
So, but I thought we're going to start with some quick fire questions.
Let's go.
So if you could answer in one word or as little words as possible.
Okay.
Nothing too difficult. But just so the listener or the viewer can get to know you a little bit better.
Well, as you know, I'm not an academic type, so if they're too hard, I'm just going to walk out.
That's fine.
Mathematics
you should be all right. A little bit of memory involved, but other than that, you'll be all right. Okay. So, assuming nobody knows you, we're going from the start. So, rock or pop?
Rock.
Rap or country?
Country.
Favourite football team?
West Bromwich Albion.
Oasis or Blur?
Oasis.
Paul McCartney or John Lennon?
You know what? It was Paul McCartney till I watched the Beatles. Get Back, yeah. And I'm like, Paul's a bit of a control freak, isn't he? He likes to be in control. And then, what it is, I like to see, if I can see myself in any of them, John Lennon just sat there taking the piss out of people. I love that.
So you saw it more from John Lennon?
I didn't think he was like that. I thought he was the man. I thought he was the main man.
I thought that as well, to be fair, when I watched it. But I went more towards Paul McCartney then. Cause I was like, man, he's a boss.
Yeah, but that's me and you all over.
Yeah, it probably is. But that's why I was like, yeah, Paul McCartney's a legend.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. It was writing that. Get Back. It was writing that, and they just come out of nowhere. It's like you could just wish you had that kind of talent, you know.
Yeah. So you going John Lennon?
But watching that documentary, I feel like if I was in there with him, I'd get on with John Lennon.
Yeah.
And I'd probably have an argument with Paul McCartney, you know.
Next one. Would you rather perform live or record in the studio?
Live.
Bit of a tricky one. Who is your favourite ever female-fronted band or artist?
Oh. You know what? That's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Female-fronted band, female artist. This shouldn't take so long.
Let's throw some options. So you got. Let's assume Fleetwood Mac. Got male singers as well.
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac.
Stevie
Paramore.
Nicks. Yeah, Hayley Williams. Yeah.
Modern day artists like Pink.
Pink. I saw Pink live and she was wicked.
Madonna.
Not for me. No Madonna for me.
Especially
not now. Have you seen her?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. Just grow old now. Just grow old, woman. But yeah. Because there's like Janis Joplin and stuff like that. It's lovely to listen to.
What's her name? Who Taylor Hawkins drum for?
Oh, Sheryl Crow.
No. Alanis Morissette.
Close. They're in the same era, aren't they? Yeah, she's good.
She's good. Are you having...
Chaim.
Chaim?
I like Chaim.
Chaim.
I think I might be good with Chaim. Is that a...
I don't know.
Chaim.
I think it's supposed to be Chaim, but...
Chaim. I like Chaim. The dad says Chaim.
Does it?
Yeah. So we'll go with Chaim.
Would you rather be a musician in the 70s or the present day?
70s. Straight away.
Yeah. What was the first gig you ever attended?
Like proper.
Yeah.
Proper rock gig. It's got to be.
Take away a rock gig.
I know, but like I'm trying to think of. Like we used to go to the X Factor.
Yeah, but
shows.
Was that your first?
But X Factor. Do you know the one with Tabby? Remember Tabby?
Yeah.
With the was that wall guitar? It made me dye my hair. Remember that? That was probably the first one I went to.
He got you expelled from school.
Yeah. Prick. Yeah, but his was cool. He had like red tints, and I tried to do it, but Mum went like ginger.
Yeah.
And the school went mad. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's crazy that is.
Megadeth or Metallica?
Megadeth.
Bohemian Rhapsody or Rocket Man?
Film. Rocket Man.
Over Bo Rap?
Yeah. Do you know, honestly, because the Queen one didn't really go into the drugs, did they?
Mm-mm.
When the Elton one went full on. And the Elton one was a musical, and I love musicals.
Yeah.
Like you just start singing, I'm so hungry, stuff like that. And
that's why I'm different, because I was the opposite. As soon as they start singing an argument, I'm out.
I love it, I do. Get out the door, you bastard! Stuff like that. I love you. I wish every day could be like that.
It is for you sometimes.
Yeah.
What was the last film you watched?
Friends with Benefits. Do you know the Justin Timberlake, Mila Kunis one? But then I got to the point, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but do you know the part where you meet his dad and he's got Alzheimer's? I don't know if you've ever watched it.
I have seen it, but it was years ago.
The first half of the film is basically them just fucking. I don't know if you want to swear, but I am. You beep it out if you want. Just having sex. The first half, which is great. Mila Kunis. Justin Timberlake, a bad looking guy, is he?
No.
You wouldn't mind seeing him with his top off. Great. And then it gets deep. And then they go and meet on 4th of July, which is American holiday. And also Josh's birthday.
Yeah.
They go and meet his dad, who's got Alzheimer's, and it just goes real. And I had to turn it off.
Takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, I had to turn it off because I was getting really sad. And then I put it back on and got through it. It was a beautiful film at the end. They fell in love. You can't friends with benefits. That's what basically they're friends having sex, and then they fall in love. That's all it was.
Lovely.
But I really enjoy films like that because you ain't got to think too much about it, unless they get the Alzheimer's in there, which took me by surprise.
Yeah.
How about you?
You know what? We haven't watched films for a good while. I've just been watching series.
Peaky Blinders.
Yes, very good.
My mum and dad love it. I'm like, have you watched it? And Trigger Point. I don't know if you've been watching it. No. My parents are like, Shaun, you need to watch Trigger Point, man.
I haven't even heard of it.
It's good.
Anyway, quick fire.
Yeah. Sorry.
Would you rather have a vinyl or a digital download? If you can only have one.
I got a record player now. Mine broke, so it will have to be a digital download.
Would you rather have Nevermind by Nirvana or Dirt by Alice in Chains?
Dirt by Alice in Chains.
What was the first... Oh, I asked you this. What's the first... Yeah, I have.
Sorry,
first gig you went to? You've already... X Factor?
Yeah, X Factor. Tabby.
what was the last gig you went to?
The Sheepdogs in Birmingham, which was so good.
Really good.
Yeah, I've only supported them. I went with Josh. I only support them. I've only seen them support bands like Rival Sons. I'm sure I've seen with another band, Temperance Movement, I think. Maybe not, but someone else. And I were expecting much. Do you know when you get to a gig and you don't expect much?
Yeah.
You think, oh, these are going to be good. But I expected they blew my face off.
Really?
5-part harmonies. It was like the Eagles. And this is live. There was no like backing tracks or nothing.
Yeah.
There was just 5 blokes singing in harmony. And it was in a really small venue.
What do you think of the venue? Because it was Castle and Falcon.
Sick.
It's really cool, isn't it?
Really good. I thought it was a pub. You walk in, it's a pub.
The surrounding area is awful.
Yeah.
But the pub is...
Luckily,
the
Josh drove, so if the car got nicked,
it was all right.
But the venue, you walk in, it's a pub, and then you get to the back, and it's like a little sick, like indie venue. It's great.
It's big, isn't it, for what you think. It is really nice. Last question then. What is a band that you haven't seen but you really want to? Dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
So they can still be going, or they can be no longer.
I was thinking about this. I was having a meal today in the Interceptor in West Brom.
Yeah.
And they've got this big wall thing of Phil in it, massive, because obviously he was born in West Brom, so West Brom kind of taking that,
clinging on for dear life. On.
Have you seen the statue?
Yeah,
it's awful.
It's so great.
It's Diana Ross with a moustache, and they got this big memorial thing for him. And I was like, I would love to have seen him
in the heyday,
in his prime, like Live and Dangerous.
Because we've seen Thin Lizzy in the current guys a few times.
It's been good. I mean, we played with him at Steelhouse, and it's just the songs, though.
The tunes are incredible.
Yeah,
but
imagine seeing him up there smashing it. I think the Live and Dangerous Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
Would
1978.
Yeah,
it'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was born too late.
He was. Wicked. So that's the quick fire round. So we can go on to a little bit more of the in-depth questions about you.
Okay.
So obviously you will be most well known to our listeners as a musician, as Shaun Richards from Liberty Lies, amongst other things.
Yeah.
But before music, what was that? What was in your life? What did you do before you got into music?
Well, when I was young, like 11, I was proper into table tennis. Proper, like full on. Do you know, with a t-shirt with the one sleeve.
Full Forrest Gump.
Full on. Like I used to do, like regional championships and that. You know.
Go on, how many times did you win it?
I won it once. No, twice. Did I win it twice?
I thought it was 3 times.
No, I won a regional and a
county
championship. I was that good. I could have been in the Olympics. But I got to the point in age where I started to enjoy this a bit too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Remember Mr. Batman?
Yes.
I swear he was grooming me. I remember him, man. He used to. I don't know if you can say that, but he used to give me table tennis bats and that, and take me everywhere. My dad used to take me and take me to places and stuff. But yeah,
it's a strange talent though, isn't it? Knowing that you're just really good at table tennis.
It is weird when like you talk to people now. I used to play table tennis. It don't sound real, does it?
No.
It sounds like people just play table tennis in a YMCA or wherever they do.
It's just like when you're on holiday, when you've got no change for the.
But I was really enjoying. I remember playing this German kid. There was this German kid in the regionals, like, and he kept swearing. He just kept going, fucking, fuck. And I looked at my dad. He was like my dad. I've never swore in front of my parents at all. I still do. I'll say shit and that, but I will say the F bombs or the C bombs or whatever. But my dad would turn around to me. He was like, "Shaun, you need to swear." I was like, "Why is this how you're gonna win? You gotta swear when you hit the." So I started going, "Fuck!" I was 11, and I still lost. But the Germans always beat us, don't they?
They do.
Except that one big time, 2 big times.
Yeah.
But but that's my memories from that. I've still got that little trophy. And then I went from that to rugby. I went from table tennis to rugby. I used to play. Was it under 14s maybe for Wednesbury Rugby Club?
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. It was a good group of lads.
That was the same time as we just won the World Cup, haven't we, in rugby?
Yeah, so I got really into that because my older brother played for Wednesbury anyway.
Yeah.
And Ash was really good at rugby. He had like county trials and that. Ash did, but it was too much hard work for him as well. So, like honestly, I remember going. He was like, "If I do this, I've got to eat this many chicken legs." You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And Ash was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." I don't know if he'll remember that, but that's a big memory in my head.
How many chicken legs you got to eat?
Yeah, like that sounds perfect to me. I'm just eating chicken legs all day, banging. But he don't want to do that. He likes his salad.
Oh. So what got you started as a musician then? What was the transition?
Well, it was around the same time because I was playing rugby, and then obviously me and you got together, and and I got to the point where I kind of had to choose because both of them took a lot of time up in the week, you know, because I was never a gamer or anything like that. It was literally just go play football on the field, go and play rugby, band practice.
Yeah.
And at that point, we was doing more and more band practices because we was proper getting into it. So I scrapped the rugby and went straight head first into the band. So, but that was around the time. I remember we played the rugby club.
Yes.
Back in the day. So it was definitely around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your first musical influences when you first started getting into music and wanting to be a musician? What was your first?
In all honesty, it's probably you and your dad.
Yeah.
Before, because there's no musicians in my family at all.
What about bands? Like, what was the ones that converted you from whatever you listened to?
The biggest band, yeah, S Club 7. The biggest band was The Darkness for me because they just come out of nowhere and they made rock mainstream.
Yeah,
like around that time period, like early 2000s, that I was like playing the Brit Awards and everything. They was that band, you know. And he was cool, Justin Hawkins, wasn't he?
He was different because to be fair, he weren't good looking.
Nah.
But he just got this different appeal that drew you to him. And we hadn't had, there was no real like rock stars. I know that there was, that like around the same time, there was a lot of the new metal stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't just suddenly discover new metal unless you know somebody who's into it.
Well, when we was younger, a lot of people who liked new metal there was a lot older than us.
Yeah.
Like my cousins, they love Slipknot, and they used to show me Slipknot. I wasn't bothered then. Yeah, this is what it's great, isn't it? But like when you're a kid, it's like, I don't want that. I want like a nice guitar solo and just that's what I wanted then.
Yeah, I don't know how you just dive in. I don't know. Like, there is some people that just discover they hear Slipknot like that's me.
Yeah.
But I hadn't heard of him at all.
Yeah. Well, for me at that point, I was still watching. I still watch musicals now, but I was massive into musicals. So the transition between musicals and Justin Hawkins wasn't too much of a jump.
Yeah.
So, but then you go on to like Foo Fighters and stuff like that, and you probably Thin Lizzy, and you get straight down that rabbit hole. Then.
Yeah. So, what about your first band then? Who was your first band?
My first band was a small number called The Hex.
You did have a band before that, but it wasn't like a proper
Drag Shaft.
Drag Shaft.
Never played a note.
Yeah,
never played a note. Never sang anything.
That was similar to Josh's first band, the Honey Boys.
We just hung out.
But you were a band.
But it was a band. It was like a gang. Now Drag Shaft. I don't even know what that means to this day. I think it's some sort of car part.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Could be misconstrued as a gay bar, maybe.
Yeah.
Drag Shaft.
It's a great name for a gay bar, to be fair.
We went to Weymouth. The gay bar in Weymouth is called The Closet. How amazing is that? We went in The Closet.
So when you were in The Hex, I was in The Hex as well, just for context.
Yeah, Steve-O was in as well.
But you were the guitarist. You were the lead guitar player at first, which is mad, isn't it?
How ridiculous does that sound?
Yeah.
I couldn't play guitar now. We'll play a few chords, but that's it. But yeah.
To be fair, you can play the same stuff now that you could play then. You just got
probably less.
Quite a short.
We used to play
catalog.
like full sets.
Yeah.
And I could just like play Oasis now.
Yeah.
Used to play like Green Day and stuff like that. That's not mad.
Well, I think to be fair, we probably had 10 practices where because I was the other guitarist.
Yeah.
So you were the lead guitarist. I was the other guitarist, and I was trying to sing.
You had that Telecaster, that blue one.
Blue Telecaster.
And I had that.
J Tersa.
No, that was later on.
Oh, was it? Oh, you had a black Strat.
I had the Esquire.
Like the tobacco burst, wasn't it? Like the black and black to yellow.
Yeah. God, that was good times, wasn't it?
So, and because it was the other way around, so I was singing poorly. But to be fair, I think I ended up just being a better drummer at the time than our actual drummer.
Well, your mum come in to a practice, and
it was at Brook Street, wasn't it? It's
Joe
a big community hall.
Joe Hawkes was the drummer. We was kids, he was really a drummer. He had a drum kit, I think.
He hit the drums in time with the music, didn't he?
Bless him. And your mum come in and she was like, Shaun, you sing, Joe. Adam, get on the drums. Because your dad and your granddad was a drummer, so you already had the technique and that down, really. And then I went, just to let everyone know, at this point, I really could not sing. I could hold a note, barely. And your mum went, Shaun, you sing. And we started playing. It seemed a lot better, didn't it?
It just worked. I think I'd never got the confidence to be a singer, whereas you would.
I was already there. I was already there in my mind.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll be offended by me saying, but your voice wasn't there, was it? You didn't start off. No. And that's why I don't think it wasn't natural for you to be the singer. I think if we had a singer in the band, it might not have ever properly transpired. It was just because I kind of sung by default.
Yeah.
And it weren't until you tried
Very nicely, by the way. You were bad.
This was pre...
I'm sure we've got some recordings somewhere.
Oh, no.
Of you singing.
Don't. Somebody will have. My mum and dad will have them somewhere.
My nan's got the first Hex, the CD with us.
That it was tucked in here, the picture?
Yeah. She still pulls it out now.
Oh, dreadful.
And we were there with our big hair and Matt Roseblade, who's now my little brother's boss at work, which is crazy.
That's mad.
And Jack, who was the best guitarist in school.
So, from transitioning from those practice rooms, practicing weekly, having 2 hours a week.
Yeah. Playing Jet and Green Day and stuff like that.
Tell me, I was there, but tell the people about your first gig, first ever gig.
I don't think I'll ever forget it.
Set the scene.
My uncle ran Tipton Community Centre, I don't know if you know it, Brook Street. It's from Brook Street, but it was Tipton Community. And they done like a summer...
It was Carnival, wasn't it? Wasn't it Tipton Carnival?
It was Tipton Carnival, but he basically run it. Tipton Carnival it was. It was like a summer thing, wasn't it? And they had all market stalls and that, and they had this little burger van stage. And he asked us, do you want to play? Because we used to practice at Brook Street, didn't we?
Yeah.
For a bit. And he went, do you want to play? I was like, yeah, our first gig. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll get a set together. And I remember being so nervous that day, like the most nervous I've ever been. And my dad come up, how old was he at this point?
14.
14.
Yeah.
My dad come up to me and goes, yeah, have that. Gave me this little glass of whiskey. And I drank the whiskey. I was a bit drunk. And I was like, let's go then. I remember when I had a darkness top on. Because I love the darkness that much. I had a darkness top on, and I'm sure you must have had a Thin Lizzy top on. You must have.
Yeah, it would have been something like that.
Yeah. Chris Atherton as well. He was in the band then. And we played this little gig. There weren't many people there. Considering it was a park. It was
all our family, wasn't it?
Yeah, considering it was a park full of people, it was literally just our family watching. And you know what? That was amazing, wasn't it? The innocence of just getting up there and playing a gig for the first time. It was incredible.
I think that is the reason why we're still here now doing it. Yeah. That initial, because if it would have been awful, we probably wouldn't have bothered again.
Nah.
But I think that initial thing of that feeling of being on stage. I remember like my legs feeling numb and walking on the stage being like, oh my God, this is the scariest thing I've ever done. And you kind of just go into autopilot and then play. And then that feeling after, you're like, I need to do that again.
Flying.
And then it quickly turns from being, we gigged once. Because I think we'd probably only been a band 2 months by the time that we were...
especially me singing and you playing
the
drums.
I think it was something like 6 weeks from when we first... Well, not the first time I sat on the drums and you started singing to us. Because your uncle booked us for the gig, didn't he? And it was like, you can practice at my place if you do this gig.
Yeah.
So we done the gig, and then it slowly just went from that to gigging every couple of weeks, and we ended up getting a 2-hour set together of covers.
Covers, yeah. And
then slowly writing our own stuff.
Do you remember the covers we used to do back then? Tell me some.
We tried to do like one by every different band, didn't we? So we did like Iron Maiden, we did The Trooper.
We did The Trooper. Holiday by Green Day. Sliver.
We did Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
Jet, yeah. Because Jet was massive then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We went to see Jet, remember that? It was rough.
It was rough.
It was a rough gig. But yeah, we just started playing pubs and that, didn't we?
Yeah.
But
that's when you start getting money. You turn up and people like us, like young kids, we were still in school, we were getting 250
and back then,
quid.
pubs allowed kids to underage drink as well, which was great for us because you tell school, I've been playing a gig, and I'm like, we're going to have a drink.
Yeah.
You know. But you can't do that now, can you?
We had the hordes of people, didn't we? Like, all of our school friends would come.
Even the school bullies walked in and come and watch us and stuff like that.
So that kind of all develops, and eventually you put down the guitar and become just the front man.
Yeah, thankfully.
And how did that feel? Was that...
It was liberating.
Because I think at the time, it felt like a hard thing to ask you to do.
Well, it would be, wouldn't it, I suppose. I wanted to be a guitarist. That was the first thing I wanted to be a guitarist because I'm cool.
Yeah.
But
most of them
cool. But I never looked at myself as like the front man.
Yeah.
Like not like strutting around the stage like a peacock, you know what I mean? But I had the personality for it, luckily, and it kind of worked out well because, God, I was a gobshite back then, wasn't I? Christ. I was proper. I could have been. It seemed like I was proper up myself. Yeah, which is good for a front man.
You was always in fights, but not in the band, but in school. You was always in and out of fights.
I was like one of them. Josh will tell you at school. I was one of them. If you don't know me,
you don't like you.
You don't like me.
Ah.
You know, because I was very. I didn't give a shit really about anything. And then when you got to know me, you know, I ain't that bad really. I'm very confident. But that's all it was. I was just a very confident person.
Yeah,
I still am now, really.
So we transitioned from the Hex. We picked up Josh and started Liberty Lies.
That started badly as well.
And that was your fault.
And that
as well?
was my fault. Yeah. So you can understand why people don't like me.
Yeah. To be fair, you made quite a lot of enemies early on.
I did
because you just kind of impulsively said what you thought rather than.
And the best thing about it, I don't care.
Well, there was no worries of PR back then, was there? Because it used to be just MySpace, and you just everything that you did, you just put on MySpace and was like, "That's what's happening now."
Yeah, this is how I feel, and this is what's happening. What you do about it?
Yeah, and it's just tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what was the difference between flicking from them two bands? Because it went from being the 14-year-olds that were just about playing their instruments to 2 years later, we were all quite decent at our instruments, and you'd become a better singer. And you could sing things that you couldn't have done before.
I think as the ball was rolling, especially when we got Josh in, it did start to feel a lot more serious. Like we were just them kids who weren't playing pubs anymore. We wanted. I mean, at that point, Josh was messaging the Eagles on Facebook saying, "Can we tour with you, please?" You know. But like we wanted.
They didn't reply.
We wanted to do the bigger shows and proper venues at that point, didn't we? And me and Josh used to stay at his dad's pub and write music, and we actually went into a proper studio. Not that this was a proper studio back then, but like a proper studio.
Yeah.
Spent good money on a recording. So that's when the dream started to turn a bit more of a goal.
Well, it transitioned from because we were doing so well at this point, like we were doing the pubs, and most of them are paying like £400 a night.
Yeah.
Which I don't know like how well people know what venues pay. But £400 to 16, 17-year-olds, no, not from doing original stuff.
Yeah.
But we were doing we'd probably play 7 covers to one original.
That was going to fall, sorry.
That's all right.
What was you saying?
So we transitioned from being... So we were doing the pubs, which then ultimately meant we could afford to go into a proper studio, and we went and recorded with Mark Stewart.
Yes.
At Mad Hat in Coven.
Yes.
Who then, by doing some actual recording to a click track and everything being properly done, we ended up getting on tour with Magnum, which was our first ever tour. And it was one of the first gigs outside of the Midlands.
And then if you talk to, back then it was middle-aged men, if you go, we're going on tour with Magnum, they're like, Magnum?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Magnum.
Bob Catley.
Yeah.
And we was like, we're rock stars.
Yeah.
I remember pulling up the first night of our tour, or the first day. I had this massive case of beer. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Called a Ranji Boom. And it was like 9%. It was stupid.
I think we'd only just turned 18 as well, because we wouldn't have been able. The venues were 18, so we wouldn't have been able to.
I think back then I was under the illusion that being a rock star as well was getting pissed out your face, smoking. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Living the Guns N' Roses life.
Yeah, because up till then, all I knew a rock star was Scott Weiland from Velvet Revolver, and you know, Guns N' Roses, watching the VH1 behind the music of Guns N' Roses, and them all fucked, you know. So at that point, I was under that illusion where if I'm going to be a rock star, I'm going to act like one.
Yeah.
Which, you know, were good really, especially at that age. How old was it when we done that tour? 16?
No, it was 18 because we just got to the...
Well, I definitely found drink then. And, yeah, I think... I remember halfway through that tour, I'd done this note, and my note, it just went. Didn't it? Crow Road.
Yeah, the voice just cracked.
It just cracked. And I was like, what could that be? And he talked to people, I was like, what are you drinking?
Yeah.
You don't drink when you're on tour because you fuck your voice up.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
just dries your throat out, doesn't it?
Yeah. And at that point, I was like, shit, I better stop doing that then. I better start drinking water. So you learn on the go. When you see Bob Catley, you talk to Bob Catley, he didn't speak to you.
Who smoked loads.
Yeah, he didn't speak to you. And then at some point, you find out he chooses to smoke over talking while he's on tour because he doesn't want his throat to go. And he chose smoking over talking.
It's mad.
It's a long time not to talk.
Yeah.
You know. And, yeah, so at that point, I think you definitely start to learn a lot more when you're on tour with bands like that, especially. Yeah. I mean, you walk on stage and them setting up and them polishing the cymbals.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, that guy is being paid to polish that band's cymbals. Jesus Christ. But that was a good tour, that was.
And I think that was similar to the first ever gig. That was the platform to be like, okay, well, this could be our job.
Yeah.
We could do this. We could tour full time and that's what we do. And I think that's when we were like, right, we've got to take it more serious.
Yeah.
So we went from being these kids playing covers, we're like, all the covers have got to go. We're a serious band now.
Start writing our own music.
And you slowly start building it up and booking shows after that. Because we'd done the tour, we went back to all the places that we played, and we went back to Pontypridd.
Yeah.
And
in this little garage. It was a garage, wasn't it?
Yeah, but people turned up, and that was mad for us that we were still 18 years old.
I remember that, man. That was a sweaty night.
And we were still technically very, very bad.
Yeah.
We weren't in any position to be touring.
You know what? Some people who follow us now followed us back then.
Yeah.
And they had the urge to come and see us then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, this was 2009 for context. So we started Liberty Lies in 2008. 2009 and 10, we built it up so we were going...
You're making me feel so old.
I know. We were going on the road. But that's why it's mad to think now that we're still that same band that many people are looking, going, hang on, I saw you support Magnum back in 2009.
I think that's been a massive problem for us as well.
It has been, yeah.
Because people see our name and think we're still them kids who could play like we was.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite. I mean, if you come to a show now, we're a man band. Yeah. You know, we do know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't mean to blow our own trumpets and that, but the live shows are our thing, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm glossing over a lot of Liberty Lies because there is a Liberty Lies podcast. If people is interested, you can go and listen to that on this same platform. It's the Lies Cast, so you can check that out. What has been your career highlights with Liberty Lies? What's been your favourite moments? We can have a couple. You ain't got to pick one.
You know what? The last 5 years is loads, isn't there? For me, anyway. Bloodstock, big. Steelhouse actually was probably a big one for me.
Yeah.
Because that was a relaunch of. Because we changed genre. That's been our problem. We went from alternative. It was like, let's do classic rock. So we brought out. Did It's a Hope That Kills You come out before Steelhouse? Or no? Or was it just United Nothing?
Yeah, it was just United. We would do it. So we just released the first single.
So it was like, yeah, we've done the new album. It sounds great. I'm going to start wearing a smoking jacket. I've got my long hair. And that was like, we're sharing a stage with Thin Lizzy and Thunder and bands like that, you know. And we walked on and it was first band on Steelhouse and it was rammed.
It was empty at first. Because we were on about, I don't know, 1 o'clock.
When we was getting ready. And we was kind of crapping ourselves.
The field was empty when it was like, if this stays like this, we're in trouble.
Yeah. And then we went on, and it was rammed.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'll never forget that, because that's our first proper outdoor festival as well.
Yeah.
And it was a proper festival.
Yeah.
You know, we've done the odd back of a lorry truck and stuff like that. Burger van.
Back to our
But that was a
original.
proper stage, and Planet Rock was sponsoring, and...
Well, we were introduced by Ian Danter, who's a Planet Rock DJ and TalkSport.
It was just where any band would want to be, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, And that's a big one. Bloodstock. The first time I'd done it, that was the first big gig I'd done with no hair. I shaved it off like an idiot. Yeah. That was a big one though, because we was good that day.
It was a high pressure gig, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a big gig.
And that was only our second gig after COVID.
Yeah.
Which is frightening because
and we done it.
And we need to because we had got other gigs booked, but we had to pull out because of someone had COVID.
That is mad.
So our second gig back after 2 years
was
to a few thousand people, wasn't it? And we knew like the festival had sold some like 18,000 tickets.
Yeah. Oh, we knew there was going to be some people there. We didn't expect that many people there. But
we clashed with Diamond Dead. And so you're like, well, no one's going to come and see us. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Diamond Dead and legends are they? So people would be like, we're going to see Diamond Dead, not this band who've been going for 10 years, but, you know, still I got nowhere. But, yeah, that was Bloodstock was great. I really enjoyed the Inglorious tour. I really think at that time we knew what we was doing as a band.
Yeah.
And we went down really well on that tour. It was only a few dates, but we was tight, that tour, the Inglorious tour. But yeah, the Soil tour as well, 3 weeks of living in a camper van. Amazing. Yeah. That's a highlight for me. I really enjoyed that. That's probably my favourite tour.
More than the Shaun Down?
I think we was too young for Shaun Down to really
We weren't
appreciate.
good enough, were we? When you
I think as men, I don't think we was old enough to really appreciate what was going on.
And all the things you just said about us being, it was quite, the Shaun Down was quite similar to Magnum in that the opportunity come before we were ready.
Yeah, and
you can't turn it down.
No.
But it can do you more damage than good.
Good, yeah.
And I think in hindsight, you'd look back and go, if we can get this opportunity on their next tour, when we're twice as good, it'll do us loads better.
Definitely. But yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I remember we played Amsterdam with Shaun Down. This is how thingy, and I went in the shower, and I just got out. I was in the towel, and I heard our intro tape.
Yeah.
And Cowley come down. He was like, "Oh, you better go on. You got to go on." And I was still in the towel. I was like, "Crap!" So I had to get my clothes on. My hair was soaked.
Yeah.
I mean, my hair was normally soaked by the end of the gig anyway. But I remember that. I was thinking, I don't really have time to enjoy that tour because you was too busy messing up in some way before you got on stage. You know.
Yeah, it was all a learning experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. But a great experience at the same time.
Yeah. So I'm going to flip it now because I want this kind of podcast alongside other ones that I do to be about the music industry.
Yeah.
And I think you've got a lot of experience within the industry of the ups and the downs.
Mm.
So, and the fact that you were still in it is a testament to how good the ups are. So I don't want people to be knocked by the fact that we've got good bits and down bits.
Yeah.
So what are some of the low points of what you've done over the last 10 years? What's some of the worst bits that put you off that you do it and you're like, I could not do this again?
A big one for me is members leaving.
Yeah.
Because you spend a lot of time with people in the band and you put a lot of trust in them for turning up, doing shows. I mean, some of them I can't knock. Like some of the members I still love now. But there's a lot of them who, especially in the early days, just gave up, went on to different careers, and left us in the crap.
Yeah.
That was a massive, because it kept happening. That just happened once for us. That's happened a lot of times. And people just couldn't stick it out. I mean, we're still here now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've had to move on with our lives other than the band, but we're still chasing that dream, even today. And I just think there's I think with some people there's like a deep thing with it, and some people it was just a bit of fun, like we started out as.
Yeah.
But our emotions grew stronger for it as we got older.
You see people's faces change when opportunities come.
Yeah.
And what should be a good opportunity, and we're all like, yeah, we're in.
Yeah.
You can see their face go, yeah, I don't know if I want to commit to that.
Yeah.
And as soon as you see that, and I think that's been a lot of our problem is that we've carried on with them when we've all known that they've felt that problem.
Yeah.
And instead of them going, I'm out, or us going, you need to leave.
Yeah.
We've gone, let's just carry on for another 18 months.
Definitely.
And they never change.
No.
They don't ever come back into the fold. They're just thinking, how do I stop doing this before it costs me any more money?
Yeah.
Which is ultimately when they do go, because you go, right, so we're going to need $2,000 off you.
Yeah. That's the ultimate problem of why people stayed with us. It's the money.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I mean, if you haven't got that the commitment we have.
But you know, if I had a check now that said, I will give you all the money back that you've paid through being in the band, but I'm going to take all your memories and experiences off you, would you swap it?
No, never in a million years.
And that's what people need to remember, innit?
Yeah.
That you couldn't, for like everything you say about the Shinedown tour was true, but you wouldn't take back the memories of playing London Roundhouse.
Everything we've done, if I died of that, it wouldn't be me.
And the interesting thing you said about the Soil tour,
yeah,
and the second thing you said was camper van.
The camper van,
not playing in
yeah.
front of 1,000 people every night. It was we stopped in a camper van for 3 weeks.
3 weeks in a camper van, and that I loved it.
And that's the overriding memory. I can't picture.
Riding in a camper van with how many? 6 of us.
Yeah,
6 of our best mates. It was the best. It's the best time of my life. It's the best time of any man's life, really. I think. Well, never mind the family stuff. Of course, I say that now. I've got to keep
separately
to
music.
Separate to to the family stuff. It's musically or friendship wise, you don't get. Me and you we were close anyway, but we was close in that camper van, physically.
Yeah,
and I was nearly inside you. That's how close we was.
You have to learn to like people and pull up with better than most people when I'm in a mood.
Yeah.
But you also know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And you can push people's buttons, or you can go, don't talk to that person for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. But if we do, we're going to end up having a row.
Yeah.
And I'll learn yours. I know when you're good. I know when you're bad.
Yeah.
And you know when maybe you shouldn't have another beer now. Maybe you'll be all right. Do you know what I mean? So you learn these little things.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to touch on as well, because you've got a completely separate experience. This is another low thing, but you've got quite good experiences in vocal problems.
Yeah.
So like losing your voice. So it's you had a few issues in the studio when we were younger. You had tonsillitis, didn't you?
Well, it's just been a thing that's followed me till now. I don't know but I have a big voice. When I sing, I use all my body. Like I am shattered after a show just because of how I throw it out. And when you don't look after someone like that, it don't take much to just go. Yeah. I mean, there's loads of for a throat infection, I'm done. You know, it's that. Some singers are very lucky.
A bad cold can wipe you out, can't it?
Yeah, some singers are very lucky. They can tour and tour on top and tour. They get a bit of a scratchy voice, but they don't lose their voice. I would have gave anything for that kind of thing. But with me, I've found this new. I had a few lessons and I got taught the straw technique. And the last couple of tours and that, I've had no problems.
Yeah, but you've had to build that into your routine.
Yeah.
Because your routine before, we don't always get backstages, but when we do, they'll be like, I'll do some stretching and we'll do some singing. Yeah. But we'll only sing.
Nice,
But you've had to start building into your warm up, sitting with a straw and doing your scales and things like that to try and prevent it.
You know what? I thought it sounded silly, but then Liam Gallagher does it.
Yeah, he does.
So I feel kind of justified. I'm sitting there with a straw.
Well, what does it feel like? Because when we're on stage, and we've been there, we've had a gig, and you've put the mic to your mouth and nothing's come out. What's that feeling like?
Well, you've seen heartbroken. That's the word I can say, because I feel like I'm just letting me down, letting everyone, some people who brought a ticket.
Yeah.
You guys, because we all work so hard to get to that point, and then someone like that, we've done that little tour ourselves in Bideford. I remember I tried to sing and I started spitting blood. Well,
but the interesting context with that is that our support bands all pulled out on us on the last, on the day, didn't they? So we got no one to say, can you come and help us out? Yeah. So you and Josh were like, we'll do an acoustic set before.
Yeah.
And you were having trouble with your voice up to that point.
I couldn't talk at that point, and I was like, oh, come on, then. For the love of the band. Really, looking back now, I should have just said, of course, sing tonight. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's just have a couple of nights off and then crack on. But I think I'd do that now. If I'd do that now.
But you don't. The problem is with our level, you don't get the opportunity because people don't forgive as easy. If you're a band if that venue knows that they're gonna get 10 grand, 15 grand off you that night, they'll be like, okay, well, we'll get that again next time.
Yeah.
If they're like, well, we might take a loss tonight, or we might just make a couple $100, they're like, well, I don't want you back then. If that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And it was because I remember you and Josh went and did, I think, 3 songs.
Yeah.
And I stood at the back of the room and I was like, this ain't good, is it? Like, this ain't going well. And you were like, yeah, we need to finish. I went upstairs to get ready for the gig, and you come up like, I've just coughed up blood everywhere.
Lots of blood, man.
And so it's that point that you're like, yeah, you can't gig now. And we went out and tried to do it anyway, didn't we?
Yeah,
and there was only 3 of us 4 of us in the band, but you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So the 3 of us tried to just get by, and we had
a few covers in that. Yeah.
Yeah, the singer of the Fallen State got up and done a couple.
Yeah, fair play. But the thing is, we stayed. I come down to the merch stand, and people still brought merch. That's the best. That was a great thing about it. People understood, but I was just shattered, like emotionally. That killed me off that day. And then I went to the doctor's the next day. I was like, "Yeah, you got a throat infection."
Yeah.
Something too little like that.
Yeah.
By probably sharing a van with 5 blokes, and a little throat infection does that to me.
So what advice would you give to a young singer now, starting, like a 16-year-old starting singing?
I ain't going to say generally do a general warm-up, because different warm-ups suit different people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you like a drink, try not to drink. But if you're one of them singers who can drink and can sing, because there's loads of bands who singers do drink. It just works for them.
Yeah.
But you need to find what's best for you. I found the straw thing works best for me, and not drinking. So I don't do it, and it's working. You're still gonna have a bad night. There's gonna be at some point you're gonna have a massive cold and you can't sing.
Yeah.
Because our instruments, I mean us.
Mm-hmm.
You break your leg. You call it a show. It's the same thing, But just that little 2 pieces of flappy skin in your throat, anything can just wreck you.
Yeah.
But find something that works for you. But make sure you warm up. That's all I can say. In some capacity, but whatever best for you is, and your style and your voice. I went to a singing teacher recently. Was that before the Scarlet Riot tour?
Yeah.
So I had a couple of lessons, and then COVID kicked in. So she had COVID, so I couldn't go anymore. But I literally had 2 lessons, and she taught me how to warm up.
Yeah. With
the straw, and that was it.
It's knowing the person with the knowledge sometimes.
Yeah. And
I think that's what.
And it's the simplest. I'm just sitting there going with a straw in my mouth.
Yeah.
And it works. The heartbreak I've had in the past because of my voice going and not knowing what to do, apologising to everyone. That's all I can do. But yeah, but it's, you more and more singers do it. I'm doing it now. There's loads of people cancelling tours and that because the voice is going, which is going to happen. People are robots.
Well, we accept it now, the cancellations because of COVID.
Yeah,
You can't argue if someone goes, look, I've got COVID. We can't go, well, you've still got to play.
Yeah.
So we accept it, and I think it needs to get to that point where you go. To be fair, if they don't feel well and they still play, you're gonna have a rubbish night.
Well, yeah, and you're gonna make them worse.
Yeah.
Sons of Texas had to do it. Sons of Texas, we played with a great band. We played with Soil, and they've had to cancel half their tour because of its marketing singer.
Yeah.
He's one of them powerful singers. I think if you're smashing your voice out like we do every night, it's going to come to a point. I mean, I'm amazed I've still got a voice over the years. To
be fair, yours has probably got stronger.
Yeah.
Through the constant beating of it. And
maybe. I think
your voice has got better over the years. You've only got to listen to them, like say, the very first early recordings, and it's not great. And then now, a lot of people, like every review we get, all about how great your voice is, and it's come on massively.
I think as I've got older, I think I've got more humble to it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was like, I wasn't that good, but I was like, because in our scene, I probably was good, compared to the other bands around us. But then you go into the next league, and then the league where you're supporting Nathan James,
It's like going.
It's like shit.
It's like from Sunday League football to I play in the Championship to go. I'm now going to play in the Champions League.
Yeah. So if I'm playing a show with Nathan James, and I walk off stage and people are going, "Your voice is amazing." You come to see Nathan James, so if you think that, thank you so much,
Yeah.
But I think as I've got older, I have calmed down. As you say, I'm boring now. But I feel really humble and proud of what we've done.
Yeah.
we'll always have their memories as well. That's all we can, and we'll probably create more in some capacity. So yeah.
So how, obviously, we've looked at different ways within the industry to make money, and we've already spoke about how much it costs. So how does a musician of our level make money? How do you finance the things that you do?
Well, you're gonna have to get a job at that point, because you can't make a living from it.
Yeah.
And people who tell you can, I'm liars. You either get a job, like a lot of us have.
Yeah.
All of us have. We luckily have a covers band. Covers band make a lot of money.
Yeah.
For singing, which is crazy to think about. But luckily we've got a covers band and we get paid handsomely for that.
So we took the idea, didn't we? We had the original, like I said, we started off doing covers, slowly phase those out for originals.
Yeah.
And we've just took the thing now of, we'll keep one band for the originals and we'll start another band for the covers.
Yeah.
And the two don't ever have to mix. Because you do get a lot of people that contact the originals band and say, will you play so-and-so's 18th? We play their 50th.
Yeah.
And that's never a good look.
No.
If you're playing to people's nans and they're like, oh, I just saw Liberty Lies, it's a 50th party. So at least if you've got that alias, you can be go and do what they want, then it's not as embarrassing.
Well, a massive part of being in the band is looking good in what you do. Yeah. People will follow a band who's supporting Buck Cherry, for instance. They'll go, I'm supporting Buck Cherry, I'm going to follow them.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. But if you look at the gig list and they've got Maureen's 50th birthday party on, you get like, oh, they could be doing that. Well, I ain't going to go and see them then. It sounds horrible, but I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
It's just, if they're seen to be doing well, they'll do well. That's my opinion anyway. But so we thought, let's just be in disguise. Not take a great disguise, it still looks like us, but with a Hawaiian shirt on. But no one's going to connect the two really.
And we've never hid it either. We've done quite a lot of interviews where we've that we do the cover band, because I think it's the only way. I don't think people realise, and that's why I want to talk about it. People don't realise how little money original artists make,
if any.
Yeah, if any.
Yeah.
So the fact that if we go and do a headline gig as originals, we can make that same amount each doing covers.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
It is mental.
And sometimes more.
And you can understand why people give up doing originals to go on to covers bands. Like a lot of people have. The Crave, they're all in covers bands.
Yep.
Well, the guitarist is doing well there.
Not Fallen State, The Fallen.
The Fallen, name covers band. What's Glamour of the Kill? Yeah. Cover, you know what I mean? You can see why. That's where the money is. If you're a musician, that's where the money is.
And apart from the absolute elite that make it to a really good level. But we know bands that just about do their original band full time and on peanuts.
Yeah.
They have to move back in with their parents and sell everything they've got, and when they're not touring, they don't make a penny.
It's that balance, as well as you want to live your life as well as you can. You want to get a house, you want to start a family, and then be in a band. Financially, that don't work.
Yeah.
Unless, you play in a covers band or get a job to finance what you're doing with the originals band, which is a lot of the time what we've done. So, but yeah, it is hard. It's hard. People don't realise how hard it is. People just think we get in the van. This is what I think anyway. We just get in the van, get to the gig, get paid a lot of money, go home, deal with it like that.
I always remember when we played with Shaun, we played in Birmingham. And the security guard backstage, he saw us. We went to get our food at the end, and we come out of our dressing room with a beer. And this is a rare case. You don't normally get a beer. You don't normally get a dressing room. So this was a rare case. We'd had that, and he said to us, "Oh, will you lads get me a beer?" And we're like, "Mate, we've all got one." He's like, "Yeah, but you must have a case backstage." Like, no,
we had one each.
They counted how many people are in the band and gave us a beer each. And he's like, "No, you're lying." And he was almost like arguing with us, and we said, "Mate, we'll give you a beer gladly. We don't have another one.
Yeah.
There's 5 of us here. We've all got one beer each."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, you must be loaded doing this." And I think that was when it started in my head that people don't understand the situation like that, and people as well. They're not aware of buy-ons. People don't know that buy-ons exist.
We've done a few.
Yeah.
In fact, every big tour we've done has been a buy-on. Unfortunately, let's get that out there.
So explain what a buy-on is to people that don't know.
A buy-on is you pay the organisation, the band you're supporting, money to support them every night, and that pays for their
tour
bus
or food or sound
anything
engineer.
Like that. So let's say Shine Down. People are like, I'm talking about Shine Down. Amazing time, loved it. We spent a lot. We paid £250 a show to support Shine Down.
Yeah.
How many shows did we do? 12 or 13?
13,
like
yeah.
13 shows, £250 a night.
Yeah.
Just to play.
Yeah.
And then we had to pay to get to these places.
Yeah.
And then we had to pay to make merch.
Yeah.
And we don't make a lot back.
Well, even the every time you played in academy, they took a cut of merch, which is again, I put that on Twitter recently, and people are like, what's that? That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Venues take a percentage of your merch. We had that gig. We played a gig recently, and they were like, "Have you got any merch?" And we said, "Yeah." And they were like, "Okay, well, it's something like a 25% fee."
25%.
So we're going to take. You have to sell it yourself, but we're going to take a 25%.
So that's our profit. Go on.
So we play the gig, and then and that was a nominal fee.
Yeah.
It wasn't covering. It might have just covered our petrol money.
Yeah.
And then the profit that we would have made on merchandise, which we've already paid for. So people have to bear in mind, we don't get our merch for free, and then you sell it. You buy it, put some money on top so you make a profit, and then that's where you make your money to do stuff. And they're like, hang on, let's take 25% off that.
Yeah.
Well, how much are we making then? And I don't think people realise that as well as the buyers.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all them obstacles means you've got no money. That's basically what it is. All them obstacles, I'm taking a little bit of your money each step you go. And the left of it, you end up with minus. So
what do you feel about buy-ons then, having done them?
You know what? Experiences, love them, but we've had to pay for them experiences. We've not made any money from anything like that, which is great. We're playing in front of a full O2 academy, and we're in the minus. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just, it is. I've come to terms with it now. You know, when you're a kid and you find out that's happening, you're like, oh.
And I don't want people to think that.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I love it.
We're not a rich band. We're not bankrolled by parents that allow us to do that.
No.
It's something that we all saved up for because that's the only opportunities you get unless you're a big band.
Yeah.
We've turned down more buy-ons than we've took.
Yeah.
Because you wait up and go...
Business-wise.
Because some of them we have made small profits on.
Yeah.
If you do it smart. The early days, we didn't make profit because you don't know how to manage it.
Like a bull in a China shop.
So now we've learned, okay, well, let's weigh up the risk and reward. Can we afford to do it? We were offered one on the back of lockdown, weren't we? I won't name the band.
Yeah.
We were offered one, and we wanted to do it. We could afford to do it, but they said attendances might be affected by the government's COVID rules. So that fee that you're paying, you might play to 1,200 people, or if they say you're only allowed 200 in the venue, it might only be 200 people. You can't take that risk. And they weren't saying, well, we'll halve the fee if it's 200 people. So you go, well, if the government changed their rules, which they were doing on a regular basis, you're massively out of pocket. Massively. Like, you can't... On a good night, you'll make your buy-on back and more.
Yeah.
On a bad night...
And we have
done
made profits on tours that we've bought on.
Yeah.
We bought on. But yeah, but the scary thing is about it. The bands are getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah. The price is going up.
And the prices are getting bigger and bigger. I think we could talk about Anvil.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, you can name and shame Anvil.
Anvil was touring.
If you don't know Anvil are a Canadian... Let's say joke band, because they are serious, but they've had a film. They're only successful because they had a film about how unsuccessful they are, which has then brought them success, ironically.
Yeah.
So, carry on.
We messaged them because there was a tour. I was like, we'll jump on this tour. It seems fun. I couldn't even say it. And they was like, it's this much. I can't remember. Do you remember all the details of the money?
I think it worked out to overall something like... 13 grand.
£13,000.
And then they said on day one, which was in Europe, somewhere Germany or somewhere, we want it in cash up front, 50% in cash up front. So we'd have to take 50% of 13 grand in cash over the border. Like, if anyone scans
in a duffel bag.
Yeah. and just hand that over to them. And then they said, well, we want the rest when we get back to England.
Yeah.
And obviously we said no.
Yeah.
But I know the band.
There is bands who did it.
Well, we've played with the band that did.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at them, they haven't gone on to do anything, and they hadn't done anything before. But I think they've bought the experience, which I don't blame them.
Memories.
And if you've got that disposable income, go for it.
Yeah.
By all means.
Definitely.
But if you're trying to be a successful band, that's the first thing that you can do to kill it.
Well, that would have killed us off financially, wouldn't it?
Well, we'd have done that and retired because
we
couldn't go back and headline in Germany on the basis of supporting Anvil in somewhere over there.
But yeah, it's stuff like that. To your earlier question, you were saying the lows. That is a big low. When you really want to support a band, you ask them, they get back in touch. We've got an email back from so and so. Yeah, but it's £400 a show to support us, and it's like one of your favourite bands. And you think about it, you're like, can we get $9,000 together?
The most we ever got asked for, I won't name the band, but it was O2 Academies, and they asked for £1,000 a show, didn't they?
£1,000 per show. And how many shows was that? Like 4?
Yeah, there weren't many. It was 3 or 4.
Still $4,000?
Yeah. For Academy. And we've played Academies before.
Yeah. We know the band who did it as well.
Yeah. We've done them for a lot less. So you know that they are ripping you off.
£1,000 a show. Jesus.
We've done one of the tours we did, and the bar was quite low, to be fair. But one of the tours we did, I had to send the money from our bank account. Well, it was probably mine, so I had to say, can everybody send me their share? And I sent it, and it went direct to the singer's bank account as well, which I hated. I just hated the idea that even if we'd have bought their tour bus or we'd have paid for their sound engineer,
if it went towards the tour,
it just went in the singer's bank account, and I just hated that. And I just think it was just like a tax on it.
Yeah.
And I think after that, luckily we haven't had that since.
No, we've had some good times as well. Though when it comes to tours, we've had some good tours.
All the tours have been good, really. There's been very rarely a bad tour.
Well, I was talking to Josh and you about this the other day. It's been a long time since we've had an empty, except for Scruffies. Yeah. It's been a long time since we've played an empty venue. Our following is fantastic, and they're very loyal, and we love them. And that's one of the reasons why we're still doing it as well. There's a lot of people who've been following us for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crazy.
So, following off the topic of money, and not just about money, but what's your opinions on Spotify and other streaming platforms?
Again, that's an hard question because I do use Spotify.
Yeah.
But I hate it. I hate that they don't pay. Can you not pay a band who's put money into something and put it on there? You have to pay to get it on.
Yeah. And
then you get what? 0.01 pence a stream. They like 1 million streams for £100 or something stupid like that.
I don't know how it works here, but they had to play, let's assume it's 0.01p. They had to play your song 10 times to get
a penny.
And you just think...
But I do feel hypocritical by saying I don't like it because I use it.
Yeah.
Every day. So it's easy.
It is easy, yeah. But
back in the day, I used to use LimeWire and download albums for nothing.
So you're already one step better.
But even if they use the part of the subscription money, and I don't know how they do it. But
you know what I think they should do? They should give us, the musicians, and be like, look, we can't pay you as much. We'll let you have a free subscription.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be as bad if I didn't have to pay 15, 20 quid a month subscription. Be like, you know what? You earning us money, we can't pay you, but have this on us.
Yeah. Anything like that, really.
But they don't. It's you've got quite a good distributor that we get 100% of our sales. We have to pay to put it on there, but we get 100% of our sales, so we know the money that we do make.
Yeah.
And there is worse companies than Spotify, but it's something you have to use. You can't.
Yeah,
unless
nowadays
you can't
got your smartphones, and it's only really the only way to listen to music now, isn't it?
Well, you can name a song now, and we can get it. We can find it, can't we?
You can connect it to your car. You don't need CDs anymore.
Yeah,
it's scary, but it's easier, and it's gonna be. You can't argue with it, can you? I mean, you can argue with them not paying people, but the actual software itself and how quick it is, it's good in that sense, and it's good in the sense that you can any band. Is that good? Any musician could just stick the music on there.
Well, it is good because if ultimately. If you're no good, no one will ever go looking for it.
True.
If you've done it yourself. Like, you went to that last Sheepdogs gig.
Yeah.
If they had an amazing support band,
Yeah.
you go straight home and add their songs to your playlist.
Yeah.
If they're crap,
you wouldn't. You will.
You'd be sitting here, you wouldn't even know the name of them.
It was actually quite good.
So that was one of the cameras. Never mind. So you're about to become a dad for the first time.
I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What would you say if you're? Am I allowed to reveal the gender? Is that a public thing?
Yes, yeah.
So you're having a little baby boy.
I'm having a son.
If your son comes up to you and says, "Dad, I want to be a musician," how do you feel about that?
100%.
You'd be up for it.
I'd love it. I'd love it because I know if he starts a band and they do well, or ish do it as well as we did, he'll have friends for life. That's the main part.
Yep.
And the experiences he'll have, and I'll be one of them dads who just drive him everywhere. And yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it. River, your child, if she become a drummer, how would you feel?
I've thought about it. I'd be very proud. I do want her to play drums.
There's just something in you. They'd be like, "Oh, you're doing what I used to do."
There's a part of me. I hope she's a singer.
Yeah,
and she don't have to carry the stuff that I've had to carry and the breakages that I've had.
Yeah,
but I generally don't care what she plays. I feel the same. That's what I mean. Like, sometimes I can talk negatively about the music industry.
Yeah.
But if she come to me and said, "I want to do this,"
you'd be like, "Yes," straight away.
Well, I've got my two stepkids that are pursuing music as well, and I'm not being like
they've just started a band, didn't they? So
yeah, and I'm not saying don't do that.
No,
whatever you do, don't do that.
You don't want to come across as a jaded old arsehole either.
Well, yeah, because I look at I follow boxing, and they always talk about you've just had a kid. Do you want them to go into boxing? Like, no way. But that sport's made them millionaires.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not millionaires, but. Oh, don't get me wrong. If she wants to go and be a lawyer, great.
Oh yeah,
be a doctor.
If he wants to become a footballer and play for Man City or wherever, go for it.
Yeah.
But I would be proud as punch if he said that I want to be a guitarist, singer, anything. Same with Winter. Same with my stepdaughter. I just got a little drum kit, and she bashes away on it. She don't know what she's doing. She's just bashing, and it's noisy. But I'm just sitting there smiling because. I know it could ignite something that could, whether it is in music or something creative. I think everyone needs a creative outlook, an outlet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if that starts something, I feel like we've done our job, Yeah.
No, it's interesting because I wonder if some people just be like, nah, get a proper job.
Well, it's the thing I come from a family of tradespeople.
Yeah. Well, there's no musicians in your family.
There's no musicians at all. Don't get me wrong, I love my parents to bits, but there was never hands-on when it come to the band. They got me guitars. I'm saying ungrateful now. I don't mean to be ungrateful. There was never. I'm glad there was like there was because it's turned me into the bloke I am today. But there was never hands-on. I never got lifts everywhere, and so I was never that. There was never that kind of parents, which I don't get me wrong, I love. But your dad was my main inspiration, my reason why I got into it.
Yeah.
If I'd never met you, I'd be a
plumber.
Electrician making loads of money right now.
I'm so sorry.
It's with the kids, if they find people who are into the same things, and that's all you can ask for, really.
And you look at it similarly. Obviously, we've had some rock and roll nights, but for the most part, like you've explained, you can't play we can't. Other people can. We can't play a gig off our face.
Yeah. And
you have to learn that discipline. And I know that we don't drink at all now. Like, we might have a beer after.
Yeah.
But we're being restrained, and we have to be fair, most of us, me and you drive home.
Yeah.
So you can't go and get wasted, and you still have that. It's much better than going over the park. We don't meet up at the pub.
No.
We come down here and practice.
Yeah.
When we meet up and catch up, we'll go, right, do you want to come down the studio and let's play some songs?
Let's do something creative.
Yeah. And that's why, and we're in our 30s now. We were doing that when we were 14. So the fact that we're still doing it now, I just think, and I see, like, running the studio, there's blokes here in the 60s and some in the 70s
and they love it.
This is their meeting point, and they still do, and I know, and that's one of my questions to you in a minute, I'll want to be involved in still playing music if it's 1% of my life.
Definitely.
I don't ever want
to stop.
Rid of it.
No.
So I'll ask you it now.
Go on then.
What are you still gonna be playing music in 30 years?
Yes, in some capacity.
What would you like to be if you could say now?
In 30 years?
So you'd be 61.
Biggest Rolling Stones. You know. Now just go into a room full of people singing back your songs, or playing a wedding and people are having a good time. If people are watching us and dancing and singing in any... we're more realistic now. We've not got that big grand dream of playing headline in an arena and thousands of people watching us. It probably won't work out like that for any band nowadays. You know, there's not a lot of bands now that jump straight to arenas, or you know. But in some capacity, if I'm there entertaining people in any way, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Not just stuck in a job that I hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's, you know, it's life all about money to me. I've never had money anyway. You know that. I've never been
money driven.
I'd rather be happy.
Mm.
So if I'm happy, I've got a good life.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to a 14-year-old Shaun just starting? So you've come down Splinter Studios with your J-Tursa Les Paul. What do you tell that kid?
Get your hair cut. No. Honestly, not a lot.
No.
I love my life. Everything what's happened in my life.
Yeah. Is there nothing that you'd have changed if you could have gone, let me save you the time of making that mistake?
Oh, yeah. Keep off the pop. You know, keep off the drink. You had too much of that at some point. At a young age, I used to work in a pub called the Port Now. I used to go out pissed. I was 14. Because you could then. Because pubs wasn't as strict.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I've made mistakes. Bad mistakes in my life. To family members and stuff that I'd obviously say don't do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Nothing musically, isn't it? Nothing that you'd say.
Warm up, kid, because you don't realise now, but you're going to be doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And you need to hold on to whatever's going on in your neck, in your throat. Look after it.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. And I'd also say, looking back now, I'd say, be committed, but remember, it's your friends you're working with. You know what I mean? You don't split up that. You're still friends, because you're still going to see them when you're older. So, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think we had, at some point, forgot that.
Yeah, don't lose friends for the sake of...
Yeah, I think we forgot that. And especially, 6 years ago, we was just band, and forgetting everything else.
Yeah.
But, yeah, remember you're friends. You're going to be friends for a long time, so I'll cherish that.
Yeah,
you know?
That's nice. So what's left on your musical bucket list? What could you, in the next 5 years, say, what's there for you that you'd really want to do? Or before you retire from doing...
I really want to get on stage and sing a song on the piano. Like, after that Beatles documentary's changed me. They all get on the piano and start playing it.
Yeah, even Ringo.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there singing, and I am going to learn to play the piano at some point.
Yeah.
Even if it's just to pass on to my kids, I'm going to teach my kids how to play the piano because it's beautiful. Piano is the most beautiful instrument there is. In the last year, I've come to realise this. So, at some point, I'd like to get up on a stage, whether it's with Liberty Lies, whether it's in the covers band, anyone, by myself, and I want to sing a song with a piano. And this is going to sound, I don't mean to sound like this, it'd be just nice to feel appreciated. Liberty Lies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd just be nice to feel, yeah, thanks. No.
I suppose it depends what circles, doesn't it? Because some...
Yeah.
We've got some amazing fans, haven't we?
Some people are going to look at me and thinking, how dare you? Look what you've done.
And
you are happy with it. But it's the background stuff, innit? Yeah. As well.
Well, you've just said everything that you've said has been, I wouldn't change anything we've done. So
I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the people I've met. I love everyone who follows us. We've got that lovely, tight unit of family who come and see us at every gig.
We know the vast majority of people's names, don't we? Which is an amazing thing, but at the same time, Foo Fighters can't name their fans because they'd be here forever. And I think that's the problem, that it's just, at times it's been too small of a family.
Yeah.
And I think it needed to just be. But I don't know where you stop. I don't know if you'd ever feel fully
accomplished.
You'd have to get proper to the top. But the bigger you get, there's more people shooting at you, aren't there?
Yeah. I remember we had hopes and dreams to play in arenas, and then suddenly we got a bit older and it was like, oh, if we could like sell out 500 capacity venues all over the country, we'd be happy then. I think it's still like that. If we can play small venues and then full, we'd be grateful, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I think it's you come to terms with it as you get a bit older. Yeah. I'm saying older. I'm 31. You know, I ain't that old. I'm 32 this year. But like, I mean, you see bands coming through now and I'm 18, 19. It's like, who's there? And then, because they're new, they're getting all the higher slots on the festivals, and then we're there like, we're opening the stage again.
I'm not cool enough.
I'm not cool. But yeah, stuff like that. But I'd never change anything.
Yeah.
Other than if someone went, do you want to be as big as her? If I was like,
yeah.
Take me now. But other than that, the experiences, the laughs, the crying, I'd never change it.
I find it interesting. There's been quite a rise lately of big bands doing This Is Our Tour Bus. Like Foo Fighters, well, Dave Grohl did a film about touring in a van.
Yeah.
The Biffy one lately, their drummer bought a replica of the old van that they toured with, and I think a lot of bands miss when they bypass those times in the van. They miss them.
Yeah.
Because they're the simpler times and they're the best times. But there's also a point in your life where I had it the last time. It was a couple of years ago now, when we had to sleep in the cars.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've passed that point now that I don't feel I can't sleep on. Like, we finished the second tour with the Fallen State, and we slept on their floor, on the guitarist floor, and you're like, I'm too old now.
Well, it's just hard. That's different for me because I could sleep anywhere. I mean, we broke down on the Scarlet Ride tour, and I slept in the van while you lot was out freezing your nuts off.
It was like 3 degrees.
And it was 3 degrees and worrying, and I was in the van snoozing my head off because I can.
Yeah.
And I ended up stopping in the van until the next morning, and I was fine the next day. But stuff like that, it's hard. It is hard, especially when your van breaks down.
Yeah, it's kicking the teeth, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Right, so last couple of questions then. Who's on your dream festival lineup? So I want 5 bands.
Yeah.
You can have Dead or Alive.
Okay.
Or that. So let's go. So now we should start with the first on. With the
first
5.
On. I'm just thinking about the level of band that'd be on the first.
So it's the Shaun Richards Fest.
The Darkness.
Darkness opening.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the level I'm getting at. So every band above that has got to be
bigger.
Bigger.
Okay.
So the Darkness.
You haven't got to put them in size order.
Okay.
If you love it, but you do you.
Liberty Lies, no. Darkness. And then, you know what? God, there's some great bands out there. This is hard. Queens of the Stone Age, I've got to put on because I love them. So
that's a big jump.
It is a big jump.
You've got academies to arenas.
Queens of the Stone Age. Alice in Chains.
Okay, so Alice in Chains.
So I've got 2 more.
Right in the middle. Yeah. Main support.
Zach Brown. You know, I'm loving Zach. Do you know when the weather gets a bit better and you put a Zach Brown CD on or listen to it?
Apart from cold weather, it's a summer listening.
Winter in the car. My stepdaughter, I put him on. She goes, "Oh, it's the gorgeous man." She's never seen him. Never seen him. I think it's just his voice. She's 2, and she goes, "Dad, could you put the gorgeous man on?" I know she's on about Zach Brown. She loves him.
He's got a gorgeous voice.
I think she's associating his voice with what she'd think he'd look like. I've never showed her. I've never showed her what he looks like. I don't want to break that.
Bad looking man.
Bad looking man.
Yeah, no Justin Timberlake.
But she goes, "The gorgeous." She calls him the gorgeous man. And, so at the mini, Zach Brown. Yeah, and to headline.
Yeah. So we've got Darkness, Queens of Stone Age,
Zach Brown.
Alice in Chains, Zach Brown. Random
one
I'd
in
go.
there. Yeah, and it's got to be the Eagles, which would work.
With Zach Brown, it would, yeah.
You know, so
all comes round.
I love the Eagles. Zach Brown and the Eagles, and the only thing I'm listening to now.
Really?
I don't know if it's because I'm mellowing out, but I want some easy listening, man.
You've got rid of all the pinch harmonics out of your life now.
No more Zach Wall for me. But yeah, the Eagles. But have you watched the new Eagles DVD? The new one in LA, the Forum. Where it's his son.
Yeah. I went to see that live. I went to that tour. I'm going to see him in Liverpool.
It's exquisite. It's exquisite.
It is super. It's with Vince Gill.
Yeah, oh man, his voice. But yeah, that live soundtrack to me.
Yeah,
just the whole of it.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, but that's what I listen to.
Cool festival. Right, last question then.
Imagine the difference in audiences while I'm there. Like you got the
that's what two stage
fans, and then the country stage.
Man, the darkness. I'm happy to be there though.
Oh yeah,
them
look work, man. They'd love it. The darkness. I'll give you throwing him a bone. Open that.
Even though he mugged you off on Cameo.
Oh yeah, he did. You know what? Though?
He did. To be fair, he mugged Josh off.
He mugged
Josh paid for it.
Josh paid for a cameo for my birthday for Justin Hawkins talking to me on the phone.
The video message.
That was during a live show he was doing, live set here.
Yeah.
And you know what? That got me. Because you follow a bloke for so long. He's there. He says my name. He said my name.
Yeah. But Josh had asked him if he could sing a line from one of our songs.
Yeah.
And he went, I'm going to sing one of your songs. No, actually, I don't know any of your songs.
Yeah.
And then Josh was like, he could have just looked on Spotify for like 10 seconds, couldn't he? And just got a chorus line.
And now he does TikTok. Just singing people's songs.
What is it?
Yeah. Freak.
Right.
Good.
Last question then. So, here, I've got an imaginary bag.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's a very nice bag.
Because of Mr. Tumble, it's my spotty bag.
Oh, we know that.
So, I've got an imaginary bag. It's got 100 balls in this bag.
Yeah.
Each ball, apart from one, is worth £100,000. So, in this bag, there's £9,900,000. No, sorry. 9,900,000.
Yeah.
Okay? You can take as many balls out of this bag and keep the money. If you take the one ball that isn't, it kills you instantly.
Right.
How many did you take?
How much is it per ball?
100,000. 100k a ball.
One.
And there's one ball that kills you. So you've got 99 to 1 chance of picking 100k.
I'll take one ball.
Just one.
100,000 pound a ball.
Yeah.
That'd do me.
Just the one.
Yeah.
Because when I heard this question originally and it was £1 million, I was like, that's a stupid. From where we come from.
Yeah.
You wouldn't risk
£1 million
taking
per ball? Or
yeah.
In a whole,
no, it was £1 million per ball.
You just take one?
Yeah.
Because you got less, the odds and, you know what I mean?
But
and then you still leave, if you leave with nothing, but you haven't got a lot of balls, you know what I mean?
But why not two?
I don't know.
Because you could
do two, but one of them balls could be the
but so could the first one.
But you're going in with nothing. And you haven't gained it. Picking a ball out, you haven't gained anything either. Imagine if you had 5 balls and one of them was the bad one and you got nothing, but you had them 5 balls in your hand. I'm like, oh.
No, but you can do one at a time. So you can take it out.
No, yeah, but if you get the first one, it's 100 grand and you lose it.
You don't lose. You lose everything. You die.
That's what I mean. I think I'd still I'd take one.
You just do one.
Yeah. Honestly, the money would do me, and if I did, dying's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Sorry to bring the tone down.
I try my hardest not to. I don't know. Maybe none. I wouldn't pick any. No.
You take one, surely.
Not if one of them, it'd kill me.
I'd love to have asked 21-year-old Shaun.
I would have took the bag.
You'd have just said, let me have all 99 of them, and then I'll just have the last one at the end, just to finish off the party. Let me have the party.
Yeah. But yeah, do you know the lottery, right? Do you know the made for life? 10 grand a month for 30 years. I was thinking about it the other day, 10 grand a month, 30 years. The first 3 months would be great, wouldn't they? You know, all that money. And then what would you buy? What would you have? You'd have that much money.
Yeah.
Would you really? I mean, I'd be happy. I'd buy an house and stuff like that. But after the initial thing of everything you get for your life, what else do you need?
It's harder, isn't it? Because you got to pay that. You got to have that money up front to do some things.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But for 30 years, 10 grand a month, you wouldn't see half of it. Just go straight in the bank, wouldn't you?
Would you work?
I think I'd have to. In some way, start a business or in some.
You wouldn't do what you're doing now.
No, no, I wouldn't. But obviously, I'd be the man, the boss, the man.
I'd be the man.
I'd be the boss of whatever. Not the boss, maybe like I wouldn't have anyone telling me what to do because I've had that all my life. I don't want that. But there'd have to be something for me to leave the house for. I'm telling you, what I'd do if I die is I'd drink myself to death. Honestly, I would. Like I work all week, and I have 6 to 8 cans on a Friday night because after the week I'm like, I deserve this now. Imagine if I die having anything to go home and I just had
you hadn't earned the
right to it, and I'd had a fridge full of beer.
Yeah.
And all day I'd be looking at that fridge again, which is kind of a problem, isn't it? But I've come from a family. My family likes to drink.
Yeah.
You know, and I just every couple of hours, do you know, you drink a cup of coffee. That'd be me with beer, and that ain't good. So I'd need to leave the house and do something. Whether it's you could open a studio or anything, couldn't you? Well, like you have. Something to do with helping kids. You know what I mean? Something like that would be great. But imagine having the other 96 million jackpots straight in, bang.
Yeah, it's the dream.
It's the dream, but it's also
it's a curse as well.
It's a curse, you know.
But nice to think about it for a while, though.
Yeah,
I'd like to have the option
to be comfortable is all you can ask for, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. It'd be nice to be comfortable.
And then you'd create Shaun Fest and
Shaun Fest and
get in touch with the darkness and get Judge to email the
Eagles.
So you're taking one ball or none?
None.
You said no, none.
Not if there's a chance of me dying.
Okay.
I love life too much.
Oh, that's a lovely place to leave it. Shaun, that was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for.
Nice to have a chat.
It's nice to have a catch up, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
we sound like proper strangers when we do this.
We had a coffee before we come in.
Love you, mate.
I love you too. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.